Hi, Tim here, and this is part of my video series on creating WordPress websites for educators. Today, what we're going to be doing is something where we create a do now for um, students that only shows during a certain part of the class period. It'll only be available for the first 5 or 6 minutes. And then after that, it goes away. So I'm in my website, Math for Everybody, which I use for my students. And I'm going to go to the dashboard. And this is an advanced video, so this will be not something you want to start off with, but rather something as you get more advanced. All right, so I'm going to go to plugins and then add new. Now I've added this plugin already, so I'm not actually going to add it, but I'm going to search for Quiz and Survey Master. And it's going to, all I have to do is type in quiz and it comes up first. All right. And what I would do is, and you'll see a bunch of other quiz plugins, so you could use one of these. I would click install now and then activate. Okay. Now that I've done that, I can go down here to quizzes and surveys. Okay. And I can add a survey if I want to. This survey is named Due Now September 4th, 2018. And this is going to be, let me edit this. Okay. So this, I'm going and looking around. Welcome to your Due Now. Let me, for the purposes of this video, let me just delete this. So let me delete this one. Yep. Okay, so I'm gonna go through adding a new one with you. All right, so I'm gonna go add new. Okay, and I'm gonna call it pre-calculus due now 9.4.18. Okay, and I'm gonna create that. Okay, so now I have a do now created. I want to edit this though. Okay, and I'm going to, on the question page, I'm going to create a new page. Okay, and I'm going to create a new question. And my question is going to be, it's not really going to be a question, it's going to be name 3 things you know about the functions f of x equals 2x and g of x equals 3x minus 10. Okay, and I'm going to highlight these 2 functions and I can make them italicized. That emphasizes the 2 functions. Okay, and you see it defaults to multiple choice. I don't want that. I want a large open answer. Okay, and I'm going to click Save Question. So I've got my one question that I'm answering for the do now. Now I'm going to go over to this Contact tab. Okay, and in the Contact tab, I'm going to say Add New Field. It's going to be a small open answer. The label is going to be your full name. And it's going to be used for, we're going to go down to this drop down menu, name. It is required. Okay, so they have to enter their name because I need to know who's taking the do now. I'm going to save the contact fields. Okay. Let's see, text, I don't really want to worry about that. Options, don't really want to worry about. One thing that is important here is I go to emails and where it says send user email upon completion. No, because my students don't get emails back to their email accounts. And send admin email upon completion. No, I'm going to check the back end for it. It'll send me too many emails otherwise. So I'm going to say save email templates and settings. Okay, so now I'm going to click back to here, quizzes and surveys. And you'll see I have This pre-calculus due now on September 14th. I have a short code, and I can go view the URL, and I'm going to do that in a separate tab. So I'm going to open the link in a new tab. Okay, so now I have the link open in a new tab, and you can't see it for security reasons, but I will show you it when we do the code. Okay, so now the thing is, what I want to do is I want to get this to show up for only the first 5 minutes of class. So I'm going to have to write some code to do this. And one of the things that I need to do is I'm going to use a text editor to do this, just to help my code look a little bit better. And I'm going to add a project folder. Okay, and I'll pull this down so you can see it. So I'm going to add a project folder for my desktop. I'm going to call it coding. Okay, so I've added that folder. You'll see I already have one file there. I'm going to click on the folder and create a new file. And we'll call it do now timing.php. Okay, and I'm going to create a little skeleton to write the code in. So I just type HTML. That gives me an HTML skeleton. I'm going to go down to here and start my PHP code. Okay. All right. So what I want is I want to write a code where if something happens during a certain time interval, then I display something, and if it's not during the time interval, I display something else. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my browser here, and I'm going to look up some PHP. All right, so there's a couple things. So if I look here I search for PHP Time Function. Okay, so they have in this example, and this is W3 Schools, you can look this up online, they have a variable t equal to this time function, which is a defined function in PHP. I'm going to bring back my text editor, and yeah, I could call it T for time or anything. And maybe I'll just write it out as time equals, and then I want to get the function right. And yeah, you know what? I'm going to do now time equals this time function. Okay, so that is a predefined function in PHP. Okay, so now I'm going to do an if else statement. So I'm going to say if do now, oops, I don't want to write this right. Do now time is greater than or equal to, and I want to make sure, let me make sure I'm doing my PHP operators right. So PHP comparison, that's what I'm doing, comparison operators. Okay, so I can look this all up online. So if I want to do, let's see, I'm going to click on this, W3 Schools. Okay, so if I scroll down, I want greater than or equal to. And I'm looking, and I've got it correct. So greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. So we have greater than, if do now time is greater than or equal to, and now my class starts at 7:30. So now I have to figure out this PHP time format. And I'm going to look that up. And these are all things you can look up online. It's very easy to do it. So we'll do this date and time here. And we're going to scroll down. And you can see the stuff about the date, year, month, date. Okay. All right. So keep going down. And so we have hours. What is this? This is I is minutes, and then seconds here. Okay. But if we keep scrolling down, you'll notice it says, well, we have to set, we have to basically set our server to a default time zone, and happens to use New York, which I am in. I'm in Connecticut for my class, so I'm going to be running on that time zone. So I want to include that in my code. So I have that there. I'm going to include this line with my, I just copy and paste it from the example. You could change this if it was a different country, different time zone. Just look that up online. So, all right. So I'm going to say, and now it's hours, minutes, seconds. Uh, so if do now time is, and let's see, and they're going to use, let me check here for 1 second what they're using for this. Okay, and I'm back, and we want to use the date function. So let's just switch over to my browser here, and we want this date function. So I'm going to say is equal to date, and then in here we're going to put the hours, colon, the minutes, 30, and then the seconds, 00. So if the date, if the do now time is greater than or equal to 7:30, and then we're going to use this comparison, which is this right here that says and. So those are, if you do shift 7, you get these two symbols. Do shift 7 twice. And we're going to say and do now time is less than or equal to. And you know what? For this day, I'm going to give them a little bit of a break and make it 6 minutes long. So again, the date function, and then 07 36 00. So that gives them 6 minutes. So if those two conditions are met, then I do a curly bracket, and I'm going to echo, and I'm going to say, please, and then we'll do a link. And I have to do the single quotes here when I'm in PHP. So, and then I have to find the link. So I've got the link of the do now. I'm going to copy and paste that into here. So I've got that link. Please, and then I'm going to go click here and close out that link. Please click here for your do now. Capitalize do now. All right, and then I'll close that out. And at the end of this line, I want a semicolon. Okay, so we've got this. Okay, so we got that first condition. If the time is between these two time periods, then it's going to show the link. Okay, so I'm also using an else if, and that's for a test. Now, this is Labor Day, Monday before school starts that I'm doing this video. So I want to test this this afternoon when I'm at the beach. I'm going to go on my phone and check out this to make sure it works. Okay, so I'm going to echo something a little different. I'm going to say, please, and I'll do the same link again because I want to test the link. Please click here, you beach going goofball. Okay, and that's and I'll say to test the do now. And I know if this works this afternoon between 2 and 3, that I'm in the right ballpark. Okay. Okay, so I've got that. Okay, and I also have to have an else statement for when it's not in those time zones. Oh, sorry, one thing I forgot. I have to do this again. So I have to, for the else if, I have to have another condition. So I have to define it. So, and I have to do it between 2 and 3. Sorry about that. So I'll do that, and we're going to make it between 2 and 3. So I'll check it sometime in between those times, hopefully. If it's between 2 and 3, okay, it's going to spit out this message. Else, Now, if it's not between 7:30 and 7:36 in the morning, or 2 and 3 in um, in the afternoon, it's not going to spit either of these messages out. I want to echo out the message, I'm sorry, the do now is not available now. Please make sure to come to class on time in the future. And then I'll close. Every line of PHP you want to close out with a semicolon. Okay, so I've got my PHP code in between this tag here and this tag here. But this is on a file on Atom, which is offline. Okay, so I want to copy this code. I'm not going to copy the PHP tags. Okay, so I'm going to copy that code. Okay, I'm going to go back to my browser. Now, to insert PHP code into a page, we need another plugin. So if I went to add a new plugin, and I've added this plugin already, but if I went to add a new plugin and I typed in PHP, it's going to come up as PHP Code Snippets in parentheses insert PHP. And you would install this as you would a regular plugin. Now you'll see on my sidebar here in the admin panel that I have PHP snippets. I'm going to click on that. Okay, and I've got some other ones that I've used for some of my other pages. So I'm going to add a snippet. Now the reason why in here I didn't copy these PHP tags is because for this plugin you don't need it. Okay, so I'm just going to take my code, Control C, take my code and paste it in there. Okay, so I've got my PHP code in there along with my statement. So this is happening if these conditions are met. All right, so, and I'm going to call this pre-calculus do now timing code. Now, I can just go back in here once I publish this type of code. I can go back in here and edit the link for each day. So once I get this to work, all I'm going to have to do is change the link in this, and it's going to work. So I'm going to click publish. I'm going to go back to snippets. Okay, and here's my shortcode. So I'm going to copy this. Okay, I'm going to copy the shortcode. Now now to get this do now to show up, I'm going to create a new post. And I'm going to call this new post pre-calculus do now, September 4th, 2018. Okay, so I can go down here, and then to add the shortcode in, I'm going to click on add block. Or I have it showing up here because I've used the shortcode so much on this website, but normally I'd have to go to here, and it's either going to be in most used, because I've used it so much, but you probably won't find it there. You probably want to go to like common blocks, or let's see, it might be formatting. Yeah, so or layout, let's see, where is it? Well, it's going to be in one of those because it pulls it up to most used for me because I've used it so much. You're going to find it, go through your blocks, find the shortcode, put that in, paste in your shortcode, then click publish. And it's going to say, well, it failed in this case. So let's see why. Let's try that again. Let's leave and try it again, see what's going on. Let's edit this. Let's see. Okay, let's check. What did I do that maybe I messed something up? Okay, so sometimes when you're uh, creating websites, sometimes you mess up. One thing I didn't do was put quotes around my time. So let's see if that will fix it. Because what's happening is I'm getting an error in the PHP when I get a blank screen like that. So put quotes around all my times. Okay, let's update it. All right, let's go back to the post and see if we can edit. Okay, so I've got that in there. Let's update. Okay, so it's saving correctly now that I put those quotes around. So that was not saving correctly because there was an error in the PHP. And if you look at the date and time documentation, I need these quotes here and here. Okay, so that's what was causing the problem. Okay, so let's view the post right now and see if we're getting that message that it's not available. So let's view the post. We've already saved it. So we go down. Look at this. I'm sorry, the do now is not available now. Please make sure to come to class on time in the future. Okay, so I'm going to test this out later this afternoon, but I'm going to tell you it is going to work between 2 and 3. And so you've got a do now that basically only shows up at a certain time. So these students go, okay, go click on the do now. They click on the do now, and it says, oh, you got to class late. Bummer, it's not here, dude. Um, so, so this is a new thing I've incorporated this year for my classes. Try and get students to come on time. So I hope that gives you some cool ideas on what you can do with your WordPress website for your class, and a little bit of knowledge with some PHP code. And, I do know some PHP stuff, but I just showed you right there. I was looking up some of the documentation. What do I need to do for this time variable? I kind of knew I was going to do a if else statement. I know what that is, um, but I was looking up the specific documentation. How do you do this? And that's all you really need to do to get a really cool class website that's interactive and helps keep your class running smoothly even. So, all right. Well, thank you for watching and have a nice day.